Good to get out there. Good first day. It was exciting to be on the field. I thought our players did a really good job in the off season, but it was great to get out there today and get going. So, good first day.
What can you tell from seeing you guys?
Well, I thought the guys had a really good attitude. What I could tell was that they had a clue on what to do offensively, a clue on what to do defensively, had a good idea of the base offensive plays, base defensive plays, and I felt like the coaches did a good job of preparing them. Now the execution was very sloppy. It was sloppy. Throwing and catching, stuff like that, which you understand. Guys were a little anxious and all that, but I felt good. I felt like I felt like the coaches did a good job putting them in a position to understand some things. So, good idea.
One of the winter conditioning videos, I think at the end you were addressing the team. You said, we'll get it done, but your heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
How important is it just to have guys that want to get better, as you said, that have obviously looked at the play?
Yeah. Very, very important. One of the most important things outside of having some talent. But I think again, I felt that today. Now it'll be that's day one. Let's see how we do all spring. But I felt like day one that again their hearts were in the right place. I felt like they were locked in. They were had a I say we had a good sense of urgency. Not what we needed to be. But I felt guys were trying to move around and be locked in and on both sides of the ball. So.
Mark, in your spring guys, there's no depth targets.
Yeah.
Intentional, or?
Yeah, it was. I just didn't feel that was right, until we had a chance to work with these guys. Obviously, there was somebody that took reps at ones today and with the twos and the threes and so on. But I didn't feel like it was right to release it to anybody. Nobody's earned anything yet. So we're going to make them all earn their spots, and we'll evaluate that as we go. So.
Looks like a couple guys have some new positions on there.
Well, just schematically, just what we felt like they could fit in our scheme. So we'll keep on working through all that.
Mark, you talked about the quarterbacks. What you saw, who took the most snaps was the first?
We were equal with those guys. We're rotating them each drill, to be. Just to be fair with those guys, but all of them had their ups and downs. Each of them looked really good at times, and then at times, they struggled just putting it all together, which you can understand.
Give you any better sense for what maybe you have now that you've seen them on the field and running around?
Yeah, after one day, one practice again, we'll go back and watch that film all day, but I have a good idea. We dropped some passes. We were a little sloppy in that area. In the secondary, they got behind us at times. So I think we need to continue to build depth at the skill positions.
Does it hinder you at all having to go inside?
A little bit. The nice thing is it's a good indoor, really. Outside of some kicks, you could get a lot of work done. And the good thing about this time of year, as opposed to the fall, is there's no scout team work. So we could all get off to the side, and you got a lot of room to operate. Outside of the beginning with individual drills and things like that, it's okay. I'd rather be in there and be on a good surface.
Mark, obviously you're finding out about your kids and what do you want them to find out about? What do you want to get across to them with them to know about you and your staff?
Just how demanding we're going to be, doing things right, practicing with a great sense of urgency, practicing with great detail, and developing some leadership and accountability to each other. So those are some things we're looking for right away.
Mark, you talk about the pace of practice, and is it faster than what these guys have been used to?
I'm not sure, what they practiced at before, but it's pretty good. For the first day today, I thought our pace was very good. The transition in between periods will improve. We'll get faster and more efficient in our practice, and we'll address that with the players and with the coaches. But I thought the pace was pretty good. I like the staff's organization, the offensive staff and the defensive staff. They were prepared for today's practice, and you could see that. Again, we were by no means anything close to a finished product or anything like that, but the operation was pretty good for the first day.
Did you sense that any natural leaders, maybe in the off-season workouts, even in day one practice, kind of
step up that guys respond to?
Not really. You know, I'll be honest with you. I just talked to the team about that. You know the leadership, but I'd rather have it that way. Honestly, I'd rather have it a little bit cautious than fake or phony. You know, I'd rather people, earn their way to be leaders, and we'll see. We'll develop some leadership, and the team will develop some leadership. But I'd rather have it. Everybody was out there holding on today. They were holding on. So it was hard to get a sense of that leadership. But again, I'd rather have it that way than a bunch of raw, phony stuff and guys not locked in and it not being real.
Was it better than you might have expected? I mean, compared to what you thought coming in to this first time?
You know what, I was encouraged. I really feel like there's some things to work with there. We got a long way to go. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like they're good guys. They have a good attitude, and that's a good start. And I felt like through the off-season program, they were in pretty good condition. Coming back off of spring break, Monday morning off of spring break, that really, they did a pretty good job. We got back yesterday and had a little stretch and a little run and got a little sweat going for those guys yesterday. So that was good just to get them back moving a little bit and make sure they're all back out of Mexico or wherever in the world they were. So they're
It was your first time to actually be on the field with Neil Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Anything today surprise you, impress you?
Yeah, very impressed. Very impressed. I think they're, Neil had the whole offensive side of the ball very organized. I like the drills. I like the efficiency. They're constantly working 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks. A bunch of guys. They're very efficient in what he's teaching in the way we're managing the offense there. So yeah, no, I thought it was very good for a first day. I really did.
As you construct the team, are there positions on either side of the ball where you say, this is critical what we want to do defensively or offensively, where you would like to see somebody emerge in spring?
It's difficult for me to talk about a position because as we all know in here, we need to get better everywhere. There's not one position on our field that we don't need to improve, and so that's why it's hard for me to get specific on a person, a certain group, because we need to improve in all areas. I mean, again, I feel like there was a few guys offensively that stood out that did a good job, but I feel like there was too many balls on the ground and very sloppy. And I know it's day one, and we're going to improve the execution, but I think just wide receivers in this offense is very important, as you know.
Mark, did you sense any nervousness among the guys trying to make it?
Yeah, definitely. I hope some of that was a little bit nervousness and a little bit anxious. So some of that, maybe they were pressing a little bit hard, but so we'll improve.
Mark, this was your first practice as a head coach. What was it like out there knowing that from here on it's on you?
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit different. I found myself staying on the schedule and making sure practice was running efficiently, making sure our coaches that haven't been with me before and our players understand the transitions and how fast we want to move in between drills and where we want to be. And so I was making sure people were in the right place and GAs and warning them about the transitions, things like that. Just managing the practices, just jotting down notes, things that we need to get better. Once we got into certain drills, it was fun to get back in coaching. Obviously I can't stick my nose in there offensively yet, except to say, hey, catch the ball or block that guy or something to that effect. But defensively, getting involved with the X's and O's and getting out there with the players, that was fun for me because there's been so much management, as the head coach in putting it all together. Obviously that's where I'm focusing the majority of my time. Anyway, yeah, it was a little bit different. We'll go in full pads on Friday. So we'll go shorts again Wednesday, full pads on Friday.
Will you scrimmage Saturday?
No. We're only going to go 3 days this week just to work them back in. With only the 15 practices, we're going to go 3 this week, and that gives us plenty of time to review the installation. So after the first 3 days, much of our installation will be in. Gives us time to watch film in between each practice before we go back out. So give it to them nice and slow this week. Get them back in shape and tempo and all that.
With only 15 practices, at the end of the spring ball,
What do you hope that you get out of this time frame?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think, the demands, that we're going to expect of them from a coaching staff, I think it's very important that they learn the tempo, and how efficient we need to be. And, offensively and defensively at the end of these 15 practices, our players should know this is who we are offensively and this is who we are defensively. There'll be much more, but the basics, is a big part of who we are. They need to know that.
You touched on this being your first practice as a head coach. Did you model your first practice after anybody after all the mixed ups?
Yeah, I kind of just put it together from, things I've learned through the years. It's very similar to some things we were doing at Florida State as far as the structure of practice. Mm-hmm.
Was it nice to get back on the field after spending the summer doing media and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. It really was. It was good. It felt good. You get out there and chew some guys out a little bit. Yeah, no, it felt good just to coach them and get pushing them and just get the blood flowing from the coaching point of view. Yeah, definitely. Felt much more comfortable out there. Mm-hmm. I like the facility. I like the indoor. I really do. I feel like we could get good work in there. It gets a little tight in the end zones, but again, right now in the spring it works well because we go against each other. So we have plenty of room to operate. If we get, if we're doing scout teams with the offense on one side and the defense on the other side, it'll start, it could get a little bit tight. But for right now, I thought it was pretty good. Much better than being outside today.
Is everybody healthy for full contact?
For the most part, yeah. Yeah.
You have Clemens? You available?
We'll see. We'll see how he's coming. Mm-hmm.
What's that list?
A little bit, yeah. Clemens we're going to be very smart with him. Yeah.
Anything else, guys? Mark, can a player win a job in spring, or what's the
Oh yeah, definitely. He could win it until camp starts. And then he's going to have to keep it. With our first year here, it's going to be very fluid that way because we want the competition. We need more position battles. That's going to make your team better. So, we won't let anybody feel real good about themselves, so we're going to push them very hard and be very demanding. So, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not real interested in putting a depth chart together right now. I'm interested in developing it too deep. But as far as who the starters are and all that, we got plenty of practices. We got 14 more this spring and close to 30, before our first game in the fall.